Good evening and welcome, everybody. We want to thank you for coming in tonight. This Thursday night, is our second Thursday online support group for caregivers. And so we want to say thank you for those of you that are here. We're going to give a little time for some that will be checking in with us. And if you are in, we're going to ask that you put in the chat where you are tuning in from tonight. We would greatly appreciate that. It helps us know who's listening, and just put in, what part of the country you're listening in from. We would greatly appreciate that. And as we're getting ready to get started, and as we're waiting for those that are going to be joining with us, we want to make sure we start with our settling breath. There's a lot going on. I'm in the California area, and there is a lot, as many of you know, going on in California right now, in Southern California specifically. And so we want to send some good vibes, some good energy out to those that are experiencing loss. And we those that are sudden loss, not even an expected, it's traumatic on any level. But when one loses everything, all that they know, all that has been common to them, it can be very traumatic. And so we want to take a pause right now and just send some good energy, some good vibes to the direction of those that are experiencing loss right now in the Southern California area. In the Malibu area, Altadena, Pasadena. We got an alert today that also in the West Hills area, and there's Anaheim area. So there's areas all over California where those are experiencing loss. So we want to make sure that we send good vibes out to them. In doing that, we want to take our intentional breaths right now. So come on, I want you to pull in through your nose, take a deep inhale through your nose. Hold, and on 3, we're going to exhale on the count of 3, 2, 3, and exhale through the mouth. I get that may have confused you, so we're going to do that again. We're going to inhale through the nose on the count of 3, 2, 3, inhale. Yes. Hold, and then we're going to exhale on the count of 4, 2, 3, 4, and exhale through the mouth. Is that breath that reminds us and settles us, and that whom's and whose we are. And so we are greatly appreciated to the breath. It is our breath that calls us family. We all have breath. And so we say thank you for joining us. I needed that. I always need that. Every time I pause to take an intentional breath, it calls me to remember whose and whom's I am, and that whatever I think I'm worrying about or whatever is in the backdrop of my mind, it has to go. All right, so let's take one more deep inhale. Inhale and pause, hold. And on the count of 4, exhale through the mouth. 2, 3, 4, and slowly release through the mouth. Yes. So again, thank you for joining us. We have Cassandra Jackson in from Snellville, Georgia. We got Francine from Pomona. We have somebody else. I don't know who it is, but whoever you are, thank you. Thank you for being here. So what is the intention of the online support group for caregivers? The intention is to give us space for those that care for others. And be it an ill parent, grandparent, loved one, ill child, homeschool parent, maybe you have signed up. We have caregivers now that are taking care of those in the Southern California area. And that means that medics, police officers, doctors, that means you signed up to care for others. Hey there, Shanice out of New York. So we want to say thank you for joining us. And so the intention is to give space to those that are caregivers to kind of number one, know that you're not by yourself. Two, to hear the stories of others and how they manage and how they maintain the multiple roles that you may have. And then three, acknowledging the different layers of caregiving that we find ourselves in. Okay. And so we want to make sure you know that you are welcome to ask your questions in the chat. By all means, don't forget to subscribe and like this particular broadcast, and share, get the word out, let your people know that we're on live. Okay, we're going to go ahead and bring to the stage our very special guest this evening. We have Sheri Simmons, and we want to say thank you for being with us here to Sheri.
Hi, everybody.
Sheri is a passionate mental health advocate, author, and entrepreneur dedicated to inspiring purposeful transformation in the lives of others. As the founder of From Pain to Purpose LLC, Sheri uses her personal journey personal journey and expertise to help individuals navigate their paths toward healing, self-discovery, and empowerment. She holds a master's of law from Hodges University and a master's in mental health and wellness with an emphasis in Christianity from Grand Canyon University. And she's currently pursuing her PhD in psychology with a specialization in spirituality, consciousness, and integrative health at Saybrook University. Sheri is deeply committed to exploring the intersections of psychology, spirituality, and a holistic wellness. She has written over 25 books, authored and co-authored. Sheri is an accomplished writer and mentor, guiding aspiring authors through her Penning Purposefully mentorship program. Her workshops on creative writing, mindfulness, and mental health have empowered countless participants to embrace their stories and find healing through self-expression. Sheri's ultimate vision is to establish a wellness center offering alternative mental health services, including creative writing, nutrition, meditation, and fitness, creating a sanctuary for holistic healing and transformation. Honey, you're a girl after my own heart. That's what we do here at Center of Empowerment. Whether speaking at events, mentoring writers, or facilitating healing workshops, Sheri Simmons is a force for positive change, inspiring others to transform pain into purpose and reclaim their lives. But that's not it, y'all. She's doing all of this. This is what she's going to talk about tonight. She's a wife, a mother of 3 sons, 2 who have mental health challenges. And she's going to talk about that. And she has to find time for herself in the midst of doing all of this and taking care of her family. Girl, how in the world do you do it?
I always say when people ask me that, I'll be like, listen, with coffee and a prayer.
I like your coffee, yes.
But I had to learn some things along the way of how to, deal and how to adjust, how to adapt, all those things. We tell people that, but it's easier said than done. You can't just do these things. You have to learn how to do them. So I wanted to, join you tonight to tell people, it's not easy to do it. Your journey is not going to look like everybody else's, so stop trying to compare, and all the negative talk about what you do and how you do is just let them say whatever they want. You have to do what's best for you, and whatever that looks like for your family, it is what it is.
All right. I got that, and we can concur with all of that. But so I want to just ask you. I know you wear multiple hats, and I would venture to say that the most important hat is probably, what would you say? You tell me, what is the most important hat for you?
Being a mom, it's a role that I don't take lightly. Being responsible, not only for children, but I have a teenager, soon to be an adult. And my ultimate goal is for them to when they go out into the world and be as productive and be as disciplined as me, and instill some stuff into them just to make them a better person than me.
Mm,
Because I learned, early on what it takes to be successful. So I want my children to be successful, but I want them to understand it's not given. You have to do the work.
mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's not given. Okay, awesome. Someone said in the chat that it's balance. So how do you balance it? My question is, how do you balance it? Because we have some that's listening and that will hear this, and they're feeling overwhelmed. How do you deal with the overwhelm, the exhaustion, the frustration? You are working with, even advocating for your sons, for their needs. How do you balance?
Um, I think that for me, it all depends on the particular season. Like when I'm in school, I usually have this calendar outside my door, and everybody can see what I'm doing, so they know that I'm doing this. Don't bother me. And just talking to the family, like, listen, this is only temporary. The semester is X, Y, and Z weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I need this time to do this. Um, just being honest and letting people know, listen, I can't be bothered. And that's in every little thing that I do.
Mm-hmm.
She said I go on vacation. That is true.
Yes, I saw
I do that
that.
too. I do travel without my family. They don't they don't come with me on a lot of trips, a lot of things, places I go. They don't come.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I had to learn that it's okay because I had a lot of mom guilt, right? I think a lot
Mm-hmm.
of us go through, that we should always be and always doing for our children. But that then I thought about it, I was like, if I'm always doing for them, how are they gonna learn? Right. So it's just letting them know that certain periods of time and certain seasons, you have to learn how to do things on your own.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. How did you navigate the experience of learning that your children had health challenges that you would have to give special attention to? How did you navigate through that in the beginning when you first learned of it?
So my middle son, when he was born, the day he was born, um, he was born early, premature, and as soon as he was born, they took him to the NICU. And when I came later to see him, the nurse asked me, she was like, "Did you notice that your baby has these spots?" And I was like, "I haven't seen him yet. What spots are you talking about?" So she showed me all the little dark spots, which we call them birthmarks, but they're not birthmarks. It's called cafe au lait spots.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, look at this." And then the doctor told me, he's like, that means that your child has neurofibromatosis. And I was like, they told me that when I was pregnant, it was a 50% chance. So I knew. So it's one thing to know something, but it's one thing to actually be in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, what does that mean? I didn't know anything. It's just like, oh my God. So basically, they can't, like, with certain disorders, they can't tell you what's going to happen because it varies from person to person. So there were no answers. It's just like, well, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. And I was like, oh. So with the first child, it was just like, I didn't know what to do. And then my youngest child, um, he has autism, and that came as a shock to me. I thought that I knew he had ADHD, but when she said in the report that he had autism, I was like, autism? What is like? Didn't know what it was. I don't know anyone who has autism, so it's kind of like, well, what are we supposed to do? And how does life change? What am I supposed to? I didn't know, so
Mm-hmm.
it was just a whole bunch of unknowns and a whole bunch of now I have to adjust. But to what am I adjusting to?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. So how did you get through that? How did you go through that process of it? First, the shock of it and the surprise of it, and then adjusting. How did you get to the, because you already had, so you said this is your youngest, so you already
Hmm.
have two children that you're caring for, and then
Hmm.
you learned this about your son.
Yeah. Um, I would say the best thing that came from technology for me is social groups where
Mhm.
people are in a group because they have a common um, issue, problem, or just something. Like your group is for caregivers.
Mhm.
So it's like, you know what, Facebook? Are there people? Is there a neurofibromatosis group? Yes, there is. Is there an autism group? Yes, there is. There is actually an autism and ADHD group. I was like, okay. And my youngest son also has selective mutism. So that means that exactly what it says. He selectively speaks to who he wants to speak to. There's a group for that. And I was like, so I just joined every group and just got connected to people who, they've been there and their children are so much older, so they know the struggle, or people like myself that just found out. So, and I like being in those spaces because there's no judgment because we all have this going on. I feel that when you're in a space where people don't understand or they don't know, it's so easy to judge about what you should do or what you're not doing.
Mhm.
So I feel like I'm comfortable being with these parents. I don't know them, but I'm getting a lot of advice and I can give advice to and help them and they help me.
Mhm. Mhm. So if I'm hearing you correctly, what I'm hearing you say is for the first two is self-care, taking care of yourself, right? And finding whatever that is for you. And then the second thing is support groups,
Yes.
creating a support system
Yes.
that's safe, a safe environment
Yes.
where you don't feel judged. Mhm.
And a lot of people, they are looking for support groups in the wrong people. They're looking for like family support, or they're just looking for people that they know to be that support group. And sometimes that's not going to happen.
Mhm.
So you have to look outside or think outside the box and just find people. You don't have to know them for them to understand.
Mhm. Mhm. Awesome, awesome. If you have any questions, don't be shy. Put them in the chat. And any comments, anything you want to ask, anything that you've heard so far, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to like this video. So, sure, girl,
Sorry.
I know it is. And
It's
look, she's
okay.
in New York, and so she's 3 hours ahead of us. So she's really late. So I ain't got no business. So let me ask, one of the things you talked about was the mommy guilt. You mentioned that. So how, because that's a big one. That's a big one just in everyday stuff. How did you get to the space of making the choice to pursue your educational goals, to write 25 books, um, author and co-author, and not feel guilty about not having and having enough hours and time in the day to take care of family.
So the book writing came at a point where I had the two kids. I had lost my job, and for some reason, it was just even with a bachelor's degree, it was so difficult to get a job. And I was like, "Listen, we gotta eat." And I just written the one book, and it would gain so much success and stuff. I was like, "Listen, I'm good at this. People like this, so I'm gonna run this with this." So I just kept writing books ever since then, and I feel like sometimes we do have to sacrifice time, energy to a point where you can just now just sit back and relax on the fruits of your labor. So now I don't have to work as hard and I get to spend more time with my children than
Mm,
before.
hmm. What was the title
Uh,
of your first book?
so that book was called Tales of the Broken Hearted. It was written in 3 weeks. I would never do that again. I didn't know. Like I was just doing something. Nobody told me. Um, Somebody asked a question about. So writing a book was therapeutic. I was going through a terrible, heartbreak. So it was therapeutic for me. But what I know now, I wouldn't have done it that way.
So, okay, awesome. Because I'm an advocate of writing too. I'm just an advocate of writing. So you do think that writing the book was therapeutic, but if how would you say, even if it's a lot of, I know my books have come out from my journaling. So what would you say about journaling as a therapeutic approach, and even just an approach to get you through the tough times?
Oh, that's how I started writing. Journaling. I didn't have any friends. I was going through um, just a lot of what I know now is depression, and that helped me get through stuff. Journaling, writing down my feelings. Um, because sometimes it's hard to talk to people because people don't know what event is. They think it's a complaint, and it's not really a complaint. I just want to tell you what happened to me today. So I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'll just write it down. I know what I'm saying.
So would you recommend that to caregivers? What would you recommend in the
Um,
sense of, yeah, in the sense of something you tried? I mean, yeah.
So I recommend doing whatever it is that they like, even if some people like writing, painting, listening to music, video game, whatever it is that you like, give yourself the time and the space to do that particular thing. If you want to try something new, but I'd say don't reinvent the wheel. Whatever it is that you love to do, go do that on your own.
Mhm.
And sometimes, I always tell people, sometimes it's best to just do nothing. I have a day on Saturday is my do nothing day. Because sometimes you gotta disconnect from everything. So Saturday, people know do not call me. I'm not answering no emails. I don't want to see your face. Uh, because I gotta disconnect from it all because from Sunday to Saturday, it's a lot.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then I'll be right back on Sunday. And it really helps. I started doing that last year, and it really helps you when you know that, oh, tomorrow's Sunday and I'm ready for the week.
Mhm. Mhm. I like that. That's really good. Learning how to be still, do nothing, and spend time with self. And I also recognize sometimes when we're caring for the ones that we love, we feel like, well, how do I carve that time out? I
Yeah.
don't have any time. Like you mentioned, the bills have to be paid. So, so you're working, you're taking care of the children. If you have a partner, if you're married, you have that responsibility. Um, so, how do you really just find the time to self care, as someone put in the chat? Self care, be still,
Um,
do nothing. How do you do that?
well, my children are older now. They can be alone in their own space. But before, when they were younger and I had to take them everywhere, I would just include them. So when I had to, go to book fairs or, when I needed to go to the nail salon, they were right there too. And they're boys, um, but when I wanted to, go to the yoga classes, they were there. I had to do mommy and me yoga, but I still got the yoga in. So
Mhm.
just finding ways to incorporate and include them in the stuff that I wanted to do.
Mhm.
Um, and now that they're older, it's just like, whatever, I'm gonna go do this. See you later. Bye.
Mhm. Right, 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 right. So, if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're saying to those that have younger ones, younger children, that to just incorporate them in what you're doing. How did you get through the journey of advocating for your children at school and in environments where
Ooh.
people did not know? Oh yeah, I hit the nail. I didn't know how to handle your children or work with your children.
Um, I think what a lot of it is learning the difference between assertive and aggressive. You don't have to yell and you don't have to be angry to get a point across. as Black women, we already have that angry Black woman thing. So a lot of times, when you're advocating and you're being assertive, they still think you're angry. So it's like somebody did ask me in the hospital, well, why are you so angry? And my response was, I'm not angry. I'm disappointed in you.
Mm,
I'm disappointed that you're not listening. Um, so for me, it's when I notice that people are not listening, it's just kind of like, okay, I need to speak to somebody else. Because I learned early on that in order to get help, we need to speak to the people that can help us. I'm not gonna keep wasting my time speaking to someone you're not helping me. So, um, that's what I had to do. And I also had to teach my children to speak up for themselves. Because, their disabilities are hidden ones. You can't see, like, I hear a lot of times people say to me about my youngest son, he doesn't look like he's autistic. What does that look like?
what
I'm
does that look like? Yes.
confused.
Mhm.
So, having them advocate for themselves and telling people what it is going on with them. Like my middle son, he has a tumor condition. So he'll get headaches and he'll, tell, people think that he's just saying he has a headache. And I'm like, listen, I had to go to the school once and tell an actual nurse, I'm like, listen, how are you going to tell somebody that they're not in pain if they're telling you that they are in pain? Oh,
Mhm.
he just wants to be here. You don't know that. So every single headache that comes in this door, you take it seriously because you don't know.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
sometimes me being assertive to people, letting them know like this is not your expertise. Stay in your lane. Um,
Mhm.
and then also the biggest challenge for special education students that get IEPs is that they don't want us to have them. So they're
Mhm.
not going to tell us that, oh, you qualify for IEP. They're also not going to tell us all the services that you get. They don't tell you what you can get. You
Mhm.
have to go do the research and you have to go get it. They also don't tell you that if you get denied for IEP that you can get a 504, which is accommodations. They're not going to tell us that. So when it came to me, I was like, what's a 504? She was like, oh, it's accommodations. Why didn't you just tell me that? Because I would apply for both at the same time. Because you can
Mhm.
have both at the same time. So there's
Mhm.
just some things that people don't want us to know. And I really think that they don't want to pay for it because this stuff is, expensive, the different things that they have to pay for. And it's also that a lot of schools can't provide it, and they don't want to say that.
So what is a 504? Because I've never heard of what's the 504?
So it's just an accommodation plan. So it's the same thing for like as Sabrick has it too, where they give you different accommodations. And again, with colleges, they don't tell you what accommodations they offer. It's just like you have to tell them what accommodations you want. And I'm like, if you tell me what you got, I'll tell you what I want. But it doesn't work like that. So which is the weird thing is someone explained to me, she was like, they don't tell you because they don't want you to have it. So colleges give accommodations for different things. So like if you have anxiety, you can get extra time on your tests, extra time on quizzes, you can get extensions. There's accommodations for the GRE, there's accommodations for any standardized testing for college. Um,
Mhm.
outside GRE, but they don't tell you that because they don't want us. But these things are available.
Okay. All righty. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Are there any questions in from the audience, from the listening audience?
She
Any
said
questions at
great
all?
comeback.
She did, and she said she must use it. I thought it was a good comeback too. You turn that back on them, like I'm disappointed on you. I love it. Yeah, you're the one's customer service. I'm a little confused. So
Because
what you do?
I don't like it when people tell me how I feel. I know how I feel. I ain't mad.
Right. I agree with you. I don't like that either. It doesn't, it makes you feel, it feels dismissive. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so I like that you gave some tools tonight on how to deal with the feelings of being not heard and dismissed. So thank you for that. Any final words? I want to thank you. You've been in, I want to appreciate you for sharing with
Yeah,
our
fine.
audience and our group. I know that there will be others that will listen to this later. But are there any final words you want to share with the caregivers, or of how to
Um, I would say do some extensive research on the person that you're caring for, their conditions. Um, you have to learn how to think outside the box, especially with people that have particular, like my son has autism. He's very rigid on certain things where he will refuse to do his homework, and it's like no point in keep saying get it done, get it done, get it done. You gotta figure out a way to get it done. So you gotta research people that your person's condition. So when they do go to the doctor, you can say, "That don't sound right," or "I don't want that. How about this?" And just make sure that you understand that whatever it is that they're doing that you don't like. Because my son tells me he hates me, and I'm like, it's you know what, I don't take it personal, so don't take the stuff personal. Sometimes they um can't help, or they can't express how they really feel.
mhm,
So as long as you don't take it personal, it won't get in the way of the caregiving. Because I know sometimes we're they're dumping all of their stuff on us, and we're just like, well, I can't take much more of this. But when you understand that it's not personal, it won't affect the way that you care for them. And then also, make sure you refill your own cup, because they're not going to.
mhm,
I had to realize that I had to refill my own cup. Understanding that I don't have to jump every time that they call. I'm not at their beck and call. Um, they could wait 10, 15 minutes while I go eat and come back. So just giving yourself allowing and boundaries is what I'm trying to say. Set
mhm,
boundaries with um, people that you're caring for. They have to understand that you're a human being. You got to eat. Like my son asked me, "What you need to eat for to take care of you, right?" So we gotta give people them boundaries. It's gonna be hard for them to get it. They want you to do this and do this and do that, but you can't do anything for them if you don't take care of yourself.
mhm. That's real talk. That's good. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. That's good. So I'm going to repeat what you gave as tools tonight. The first thing you said was self care, take care of self, and you gave some suggestions, finding out what you like, and do that. For you was writing. That's how your first book came out, Tears of a Broken Heart. We didn't even get to talk about what that was about. The book is about, but a broken heart, huh? Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. We have to thank you for joining. Yes, yes, absolutely. Um, and then the other thing you said was finding support groups, and it does not have to be your family. That's where we get disappointed. We
It
want
probably won't
kids,
be them.
yeah, and being okay with that, and not taking that
Hmm.
personal either.
Yep.
That is good. That was good. Um, don't take it personal. You talked about depression, and how you got through the depression was finding things that allowed you to vent and get it out. Right.
Hmm.
hmm
Yeah.
Learning how to refill your own cup, doing the
Yeah.
things that fill your own cup, and setting boundaries. I like to use the word standards. This is a standard. We ain't crossing this. It's my son used to call. He used to know when I needed some mommy time. He say, "You need some mommy time." No, yes, I do. No, he called it mommy time. So that was awesome, awesome, awesome. Share. I appreciate it. You want to tell us a bit about Tears of the Broken Heart, and how the listening audience can get in contact with you.
So that book is not available anymore. But it's pretty much a tale of three people, totally fictional. Three people that went through stories of heartbreak, and the message is, don't tell people you love them, and don't tell people you care about them. if you don't mean it, because the consequences of your words can be detrimental to people.
Awesome. Yes, 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 yes. Now, how can the audience get in contact with you?
So I'm on TikTok from Pain to Purpose LLC, and I'm on Instagram on Psychology PhD Loading, and I'm on Facebook as Sheri Simmons.
Okay, so you guys, TikTok is I didn't put TikTok there. It's Pain to Purpose LLC. Sheri Simmons on Facebook. You say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
Facebook is Sheri Simmons. And guess what? I'm going to do my best to get it on here. That's Facebook. And then what was the other one?
Instagram Psychology PhD Loading. I'm putting I was putting
Oh,
it
you put
in.
it in there too. Okay, perfect. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you so much. Thank you so much. So again, we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Any last words from the audience? Any last words from the audience? Thank you so much, Sheri.
You're welcome.
I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate it. It's been a plumb, pleasing pleasure. Go ahead and get you some. I know you, because like I said, it's almost it's almost midnight for you. So thank you again,
Oh,
and we'll see
that's
you
fine.
next time.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Uh-huh.
Bye.
Good night. Again, we want to say thank you for joining us tonight. This was an awesome session, and I hope that you heard what she shared, the importance of self-care. And self-care, oftentimes we think self-care looks like getting our nails done, and it might look like that. Self-care can simply mean today, this moment, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, don't bother me. Okay. I need this time just for me. So I appreciate that. Make sure you share this video. Share this with your friends and let them know that we offer every second Thursday of the month online support givers for caregivers. On the third or the last, the last Thursday of the month, we have grief and loss support. And so this month should be a very powerful one, because we're going to be really giving space for those that have recently lost, taken a hit of loss in their lives. Okay. And then of course we have our marriage gone divorce. We'll be kicking off our new season with that. And there are also videos that are available for you to check out for there. Thank you again for joining us. Do not forget to take your intentional breaths. We are here for you, building bridges of hope that goes beyond solution. That means that you have the power and the right to shift and change the trajectory of your life. God bless you, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.